Hi there, my name is Ellen. I'll be correcting this essay for you today. Let's take a look at what you've written here in this task 2. It's about ex-prisoners. Let's see what you said. Many people argue the best people to educate youngsters, not youngers, that's the wrong word here. Many people argue that the best people to educate youngsters about the dangers of crime committing is people who used to be offenders but became good citizens after releasing. This essay will elaborate why I agree with this notion. Okay, let's look at this a little bit more carefully. So, the best people to educate youngsters, here it's the best people to talk to teenagers. And then about the dangers of crime, and then here about the dangers of committing a crime. So, what am I trying to show you? I'm trying to show you that it really feels like even though you changed around a couple of the words, and you changed around some word order, essentially it really feels like this is very, very close to what was in the task. So, you really want to avoid this. You have to create a new sentence with new words, with new word order, and not lift sections or phrases of the topic into your introduction. Okay, so you need to do a little more here in terms of rephrasing. Now, on top of that, I felt like the grammar here had quite a few mistakes, so I want to talk about them. Many people argue that the best people to educate youngsters about the dangers of crime, you don't need uh, the word committing, and then are people who used to be offenders but became good citizens after release. Okay, no ing, just release. This essay will elaborate on why I agree with this notion. Okay, let's keep going. Adolescents need to be aware of the dangers of committing crimes. This is because young people are often unaware of the laws and punishments they might be facing. They might face once they commit a crime. While it is best to educate them on the topic of law in school, it is often ignored by the school or the teachers because of lack of experience on the matter. Therefore, educating teenagers on this topic should be carried out by former law offenders who had been in prison and gone through rehabilitation. These people would give the full picture of the dangers once a crime is committed. Hence, better preventing, I think would be better here, teenagers from committing ing crimes later in life. Okay. Um this is good. Um I'll tell you what kind of troubled me. I didn't know where you were going with this. Okay. So, what I would like to recommend is maybe switching around the order of your sentences. In other words, I started reading this and I thought to myself, okay, well, what does any of this have to do with ex convicts? What does this have to do? What does this have to do? And it wasn't until you got to this sentence, which is like in the second half of your paragraph, that you mentioned something about former criminals. So, typically what we do in writing English essays and certainly writing for IELTS is we want our central idea to be clear from very early on. Usually it's typical to include or to kind of clearly lay out your main idea from that first sentence in the paragraph, which is why we call them topic sentences. Okay. This way, your reader reads the topic sentence and then knows, oh, okay, this is what I'm going to read about in this paragraph. It's essentially an introduction to the paragraph. Okay. So for me, that would have been important. You could have said something like, right. So former law offenders who have been in prison before and gone through rehabilitation uh, are the best people to educate teenagers because XYZ. Okay. And then you can go into an explanation of this. You can go into all the reasons why you think this. And of course, followed up with support. So remember that you want the central idea to be absolutely crystal clear. And it's a good idea to do that in the beginning of the paragraph. So I would switch around this paragraph a little bit. Okay, let's continue. Being shown examples of life after committing a crime gives teenagers motivation in life. High school life is often seen as the worst phase of many adolescents. By listening to people who had been in prisons yet still became good citizens, teenagers might refer to their life, I don't know if I understand this expression, and gain the motivation needed to get through high school despite the difficulties. Moreover, teenagers might be more open to these former prisoners because they believe they went through similar hardships. You don't need to do that here. Hence, they will be more receptive of advice and guidance. Okay, I'm not entirely. I liked your organization here. I thought that was fine, but I'm not really clear on why ex-prisoners are the best people to do this. Um, yeah, I'm not really sure about the development of this. Okay, we can talk about it a little more once we finish the conclusion. But this did seem kind of lacking in terms of substance. In conclusion, I stand with the notion that teenagers need to be educated on how dangerous committing crimes is, and the best people to educate them would be ex-prisoners who became useful for the society. These people are not only the good examples to motivate teenagers to push through life, but can also give a more detailed picture of life inside and outside prisons. Okay, that's nice. I like that. Yeah, so there are good things happening here. Uh, but like I said, there were some things I would certainly change. I liked your conclusion. We fixed this a little bit, or I told you what needed to be fixed. Here, I would change around a little bit of the organization of the paragraph to make the flow of ideas a little more logical. And then here, I really felt like there was more you could have said. So remember, what is this topic about? It's about who are the best people to talk to youngsters. So the key word in this essay is the word best. Now, why do I say it's the key word? Because it implies a certain comparison. Okay. And it's showing that there are other people who might be good, but not only are the ex-convicts better, but they are the best. So, what this is actually inviting you to do is perhaps also say who they are better than, who would also be a good person to talk to youngsters about crime, but are not as good as these ex convicts. So, that would be a really great way to explore this. So, how could you do that? You could say, often teachers are the people who are tasked with talking to youngsters about crime and the dangers of criminality. However, they are ineffective because XYZ. In this regard, prisoners would be far more effective because they could talk about blah, 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 blah. Maybe you could talk about police officers, how police officers are ineffective because they are also seen as authority figures who maybe children cannot relate to, who seem like they have everything together. And so they've always been on the good side of the law. So in this way, ex-prisoners would be more effective because of A, B, C, D, E reason, and children would understand them better and relate to them better, et cetera, et cetera. So do you understand what I mean? This would be one really good way to develop this. Okay. So showing about who other good people to do this job are, but then talk about why the ex-prisoners are the best. So that would be my suggestion. There are different ways to do this. You could talk about in one paragraph other people like the teachers, like the police who do this, and then in another paragraph talk about all the reasons why the prisoners are better. Or you could do it the way I suggested. All right, but that's just an idea on how you could do this. And it's also kind of a guide to tell you how you have to think about these questions in IELTS, like the key words here and how important they are and how they really help you in a sense develop your answer and how they kind of give you hints on how you can answer this and what you can say. All right, so I hope you found this helpful. Why don't we continue working together if you did find it helpful? take a look at the different options to work with us. There are essay correction packages, there's the online course. Take a look at what you think will work for you best. And I look forward to working with you so we can help you succeed in IELTS. Okay, good luck to you.